6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by Freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, August 23rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.62 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,191 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $20, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,423. Antiwar.com reports Senator Chris Murphy's amendment to withdraw all funding for the U.S. involvement in the war in Yemen was blocked by Senate leadership on Wednesday, preventing it from getting a vote for inclusion in the 2019 Defense Appropriations Act. There was language aiming to limit U.S. involvement in Yemen in the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act, but President Trump's signing statement indicated that he does not intend to comply with that. This meant using control over the funding through the Appropriations Act, which was the next real chance to require compliance. The Murphy amendment said largely the same thing as the language in the NDAA, except with the added threat of revoking funding. It seeks for the administration to certify that any U.S. involvement complies with international law. President Trump objected to offering such a report to Congress. Senate leaders complained they felt the Appropriations Act was too important to pass to allow it to be cluttered by amendments that limit where the war funding included in it goes. This means, barring another bid for a War Powers Act challenge, the unauthorized U.S. involvement in the war will continue. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com. UPI reports existing home sales fell again in July, likely because of the high mortgage rates and high prices, continuing a 5-year decline, according to the National Association of Realtors. Sales of previously owned homes fell 0.7% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of $5.34 million per year. The figure is 1.5% lower than it was in July 2017 and marks the fourth consecutive month of decline. Despite solid economic growth in the United States in the past year, rising prices, higher mortgage rates, and a limited inventory of available homes have forced some potential buyers out of the market. NAB economist Lawrence Yun said too many would-be buyers are either being priced out or are deciding to postpone their search until more homes in their price range come onto the market. Realtors have warned that many buyers, notably first-time buyers of homes, are being priced out. MarketWatch reported on Wednesday that they now acknowledge that other potential customers have chosen to wait until market conditions change. First-time purchasers made up 32% of all home buyers in July, a percentage slightly higher than in June, but still well below long-time averages. The NAB report noted an 8.3% decline in existing home sales in the Northeast in July, a 4.4% increase in the West, a 1.4% decline in the Midwest, and a 0.4% decline in the South. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at WeUseCoins.com. That's WeUseCoins.com. Reuters reports a federal appeals court on Wednesday upheld a permanent injunction blocking Alabama from banning the most common method of second trimester abortions. But two judges from the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Atlanta used the 3-0 decision to cast doubt on the Supreme Court's abortion jurisprudence, including that terminating a pregnancy is a constitutional right. Abortion is a central issue in the U.S. Senate confirmation process for President Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh. A close vote is expected. Some states are passing restrictive abortion laws they hope might win favor from a conservative Supreme Court. Alabama was trying to enforce a 2016 law criminalizing the dilation and evacuation procedure, which the state calls dismemberment abortions. The law was challenged by the West Alabama Women's Center and Alabama Women's Center, the state's only abortion clinics performing the procedure. The American Civil Liberties Union represented them. Last October, U.S. District Judge Myron Thompson blocked enforcement, saying the law would effectively ban abortions in Alabama after 15 weeks. In on Wednesday's decision, the first by a federal appeals court on the issue, Chief Judge Ed Carnes said the law imposed an undue burden on the right to end pregnancy before the fetus is viable. The ACLU said federal judges have blocked similar bans in 5 other states. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Shoppers at a Hannaford supermarket could only speculate that the middle-aged woman angrily demanding a price check on a pack of rice pudding was once a carefree youth.
I don't care what it says on your screen. This is why people go to the store across the street, because of the way they're treated here. Nobody likes it here.
Those watching the woman angrily asking for a manager over a $1.20 price difference imagined that the woman was once a fresh-faced college graduate, too spirited and fun-loving to throw a bitter tantrum in front of a room of complete strangers.
She was probably once just some freewheeling college kid, Her biggest concern was which one of her friends she was going to hang out with at night and whether they were going to meet at the movies or a bonfire on the beach. Now look at her. I'll bet if you'd have told her 10 or 15 years ago that one day she'd be ripping into a grocery store clerk with a room full of strangers staring at her, she'd have been horrified. It's sad.
In other news, a few years in the military would have really straightened out a troubled teen killed in Afghanistan, and a man on the verge of self-realization instead turns to God.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, where you can join us and freely talk
for free.
Live.
For free.
Yes, and, well, whatever it would cost you on, like your cell phone bill. That there's always the person that's like, well, Khan Academy's not free because you've got to pay for the internet.
Who says that, Daryl? I think you say that.
No, I've actually heard people tell me that.
That sounds a little pedantic. That's
right,
the only reason I bring that up.
That's the reason a lot of times when I go off on one of these things that you call Daryl being pedantic, it's because I've heard people say, well, you didn't mention this point of minutia.
So
I try to preemptively mention all of these points of minutia.
You are a victim of your society. Is that what you're saying, Daryl?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Claiming victim status, Daryl. That's
you're
an interesting.
You're the one that said it, not me.
I was. My bad.
But the us in studio tonight is me, Daryl.
And Chris.
And Chris, you've got a story about some internet service providers saying that, well, I'm guessing here that a translation of what they're saying is government regulations have made it so that we can't make money unless government gives us money. So they're not asking to repeal the regulations. They're just asking for money.
Yeah, and I think all of us remember that, a number of presidencies have announced that their goal, one thing they want to see is broadband in every house, a chicken in every pot. This is usually a political ploy, but they're, trying to make
high-speed something for everybody.
Right, high-speed internet for everyone, but no one really agrees on what high-speed is.
Right.
And no one, certainly not government, will agree on whether high-speed internet in every area would be economical. And,
right.
And that's a real question, I live kind of in the middle of nowhere, Daryl. You've been to my house.
Yes.
I live on top of a mountain. I
actually drove. There was a sign that said middle of nowhere. I turned left and then went another mile and a half.
That'd be us. So where we're at, we have exactly one internet provider. Now, Comcast happens to be in a lot of my town.
All right.
But it's not economical for them to continue their lines up where I live.
Yep, they stop right there at the sign that says middle of nowhere.
Right. That's pretty much it. And so I have one choice. Well, two, technically. I could go with satellite internet, which is painfully slow and painfully expensive. So I kind of get that, but I also understand that Comcast, if there's not a certain number of households that may subscribe to them, it's not economical. But
and in the big city in this area, and for those of you watching on the webcam, you may have seen me do the air quotes there because Keene, not that big of a place, 23,000 people when the college students are in town, but it is the city in this area.
Right.
And even here, where there are, these high-speed things, and I forget exactly what some of the speeds are, but we're just, like a quarter mile off of wherever that line is, and they want thousands upon thousands of dollars to run the line the quarter mile because that line's not running right here.
Right.
But once the line does run down this road, it would probably wind up being a lot cheaper for other houses to do it.
Sure.
But you've always got to have that first person that says, yeah, I'll pony up the however many thousands.
Right, and that would be the case where I live. If I were to go to Comcast and say, you know what, I'm willing to be a subscriber and I'm willing to pay, let's say, a $50,000 installation fee, then you can bet that I could get Comcast internet at my house.
Right.
And my neighbors and everybody between my house and where the line currently ends would also be able to become Comcast providers. But here's the question. The question is Comcast more suited to determine the economics of offering a particular service in a particular area, or are a bunch of bureaucrats in D.C.? That's my question. I mean, and to me, whether I like it or not, I don't like the fact that I only have one choice for internet provider, but I'm not going to sit here and go, well, the politician said, you owe me this. They don't owe me anything. I wish they did, but they don't.
But there are certainly some regulations, and I don't know all of the details of what they refer to as the last mile thing, but there are all kinds of regulations that do make it cost prohibitive for more than one company in an area to offer certain services.
Correct, and particularly when you're talking about internet service, you're talking about putting things on poles. Oftentimes those poles are regulated by and taxed by local governments. So if you want to do business in town, our little town ended up striking a deal with Comcast.
Right.
And there's a deal there. That's what this is all based on. There's no reason for there ever to have been a deal. Comcast should just be able to look at an area and say, this looks like a market we want to be in, or no, it doesn't.
Right.
Shouldn't have government telling you yes or no.
In a lot of cases, and we will get into this story from Ars Technica, in a lot of places there's one cable company, and hold on,
there is one cable
Heather
company.
Joined us and she's waving her hand frantically, and I don't know what she's
Does
trying
she have
to.
a-
No, I'm saying that whoever had these headphones last is like deaf because it's so loud.
Okay.
The
I don't know
thing
which
where
one's
you can
mine.
change it is right in front of you, but with cable, there's a lot of times one cable company.
Yeah.
There is
much better.
in Keene one cable company, and the city says, well, we didn't force them to sign a non-compete. Anybody can come in. But the thing is, the city has set the standards at such a level as to where any new company that comes in would not actually be able to reach whatever the level is. So it's effectively, they have granted this one cable company a monopoly without actually saying they have been given a monopoly.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And here's what Ars Technica says about this article. Says about this in an article called "ISPs Say They Can't Expand Broadband Unless Government Gives Them More Money." Industry asks for handouts, arguing that broadband is essential like a utility. So they're going for the government money in this one. Broadband providers have spent years lobbying against utility-style regulations that protect consumers from high prices and bad service. But now, broadband lobby groups are arguing that internet service is similar to utilities such as electricity, gas distribution, roads, waters, and sewer networks.
Wasn't this part of the net neutrality claim, was that net neutrality would treat internet the same way as telephone service and have it regulated under like Title II or something?
Absolutely. It has to be a utility. It has to be a right, Daryl.
Right. So, hold on. So, just because something is a utility doesn't necessarily mean it's a quote-unquote right. And then this weird thing of right. So, You, Chris, have a right to bear arms, but I don't think that you would ever say that that means that some government somewhere must give you a firearm.
Correct.
So people use this word right to both simultaneously mean something that can't be taken away and something that must be given to you by someone else.
Exactly, Daryl. Now you get it. Now you understand where the modern progressive movement has...
They use the term interchangeably.
Yes. It is
and it's up to you to figure out which one they're trying to use.
That is correct.
But you said that they're trying to say that internet service is a right like water and sewer, but everybody has to pay for water and sewer.
Correct.
That's not something that's just given, quote unquote, for free.
No, and in the case of government-run government water and sewer,
people still get a bill for that.
You do. You still get a bill. It's not a right. In the provider's view, the essential nature of broadband doesn't require more regulation to protect consumers. Instead, they argue that broadband's utility-like status is reason for the government to give ISPs more money.
No, it's a reason to roll back regulations and allow them to compete in the free and open market. Your calls and thoughts, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global, HORIZEN.global.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com. Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.fm now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's Discord, tax.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's how you can call in and join us by dialing toll-free. Or there's also the Discord call-in lines, which if you have the Discord app and a decent microphone, decent internet connection, and some headphones, you definitely want the headphones, because if you're just having the audio come on your end through the open speakers on your laptop or desktop, there's going to be some echo and it's not going to sound good. Discord.lrn.fm for that. We're talking about internet service providers, and instead of them begging for fewer regulations, they're actually now asking the federal government for some kind of a handout, saying that they can't compete because there's too many regulations or something. We'll get back into the article. But, you know, without the internet, Bitcoin never would have been a thing. And without Bitcoin being a thing, SaveAtPurse.com would not be a thing. That's why Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveAtPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash BCH to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you were going to buy anyways when you shop using SaveAtPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. Save at Purse. SaveAtPurse.com.
Yeah, and we've been talking ISPs, internet service providers, and what they feel it needs to be done to fulfill many administrations' desire for coast to coast. Every single person should have high-speed internet. Sounds good, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. That's the argument made by trade groups U.S. Telecom and NTCA, the Rural Broadband Association. U.S. Telecom represents telcos that include AT&T, Verizon, and CenturyLink, while NTCA represents nearly 850 small ISPs.
I did not know that there were 850 internet service providers, let alone 850 in addition to AT&T, Verizon, and CenturyLink.
Yeah, the big guys. So I don't know. I've lived in a lot of rural areas, and there's always a lot. Oftentimes, like the local cable company is like some Idaho, or Boise, cable television or something like that. There's always something like that, and since even small cable companies, since they already had a wire going to every house, pretty much, even if it's in a small area, they often became very small ISPs. I remember I lived in Frederick, Maryland, 20 years ago, but there was one called FredNet, Fred.net. That was a local ISP, and so anybody who had some wire could kind of jump in and become their own ISP. That would not be the case today because of regulation.
Right. And as part of that regulation, that last mile thing that, again, I've heard talked about, but I don't know exactly what it is.
We'll see if they talk about it here. Quote, like electricity, broadband is essential to every American, unquote. U.S. Telecom CEO Jonathan Spalter and NTCA CEO Shirley Bloomfield wrote Monday in an op-ed for the Topeka Capital Journal. Yet, U.S. broadband infrastructure has been financed largely by the private sector without assurance that such costs can be recovered through increased consumer rates, unquote.
Oh, you mean like how every other business operates? No, and by every other business, I mean the ones that don't have these guaranteed government things.
Right. But when you think about it, how about like telephone companies maybe? No, telephone companies have all sorts of regulations and all sorts of things that the government does that can support them. They will assure that they can charge a price that allows them to, a suitable profit, but they don't talk about profit. They say, we will make sure you have the money for the infrastructure to move into the 21st century and stuff like that. Talk about any industry. Talk about cars, and we have these huge, big mainstream industries that are still, despite their opportunities to be profitable outside of the marketplace, still choose to just, if the government's giving away money, we're not going to refuse it. We'll take that.
Right, but at the same time, and in a lot of cases, you have companies that are begging for these handouts. It's not that there's politicians just trying to give away money and nobody wants to take our money. You've got these people like Elon Musk that will go and beg for the handouts.
Right. Yeah. But you also have, let's talk about small ISPs that probably donate to the, let's say, the campaign funds of, rural congressmen and stuff like that,
Right.
Why would they not want their own advocate there? While ISPs want the benefits of being treated like utilities, such as pole attachment rights and access to public right-of-ways, they oppose traditional utility-style obligations such as regulated prices and deployment to all Americans. The industry's main argument against net neutrality and other common carrier regulations were that broadband shouldn't be treated as a utility and that the broadband market is too competitive to justify strict regulations. Quote, utility regulation over broadband can only inhibit incentives for network investment, unquote, AT&T warned in November 2017. Industry groups have also tried to stop cities and towns from building their own networks, saying that the government shouldn't compete against private companies. Telecom-friendly legislatures have passed about 20 state laws restricting the growth of municipal broadband. Despite the industry's fight against municipal networks, Spalter and Bloomfield wrote that the, quote, private-led investment model, unquote, only works in, quote, reasonably populous areas, unquote, in rural parts of America. Quote, the private sector can't go it alone, they wrote.
No, actually, the private sector can do just a fine job when it's not, being hamstrung by all of these regulations. And then being told, oh, you want to actually do business here? You have to have the capacity to hook up every household in the county or the city. Yes, that includes that house that intentionally built a quarter mile away from the road.
Right. So here's what we have.
One house at the end of this, what in New Hampshire would be referred to as a Class 6 road,
right?
Meaning one that's not paved, one that there's no municipal service to plow. The guy that lives there, if it gets plowed, that's the guy that plows it.
Right. Or he hires somebody in the free market.
You have to make sure that guy that doesn't want to be connected to the grid at all, you've got to make sure that guy
can be connected to the grid.
Has the capacity to get your internet.
Yeah, so here we have, in response to government speaking out of both sides of its mouth, we have industry speaking out of both sides of its mouth. Don't regulate us like a utility unless there's money to give away. And if that's the case, then we'll take it. And we need it because we can't compete in your regulatory overhead.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery.
Libertera Ben, want to test your connection here.
Hello.
Yep. Let me get you say a few words. I want to make sure that you sound good.
Okay. Testing.
Excellent. All right. We'll come back to you when we're out of break.
Okay, thanks.
It's better and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at byln.co. That's byln.co.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love. But make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. That is the toll-free call-in line, how you can call in and join us. The us in studio tonight is Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And Chris, you've been telling us about these internet service providers that they want to have it both ways.
They do.
We'll jump back into this article from Ars Technica here in just a moment. But first, let's head to the Discord call-in line where we've got Libertera Ben calling in. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, I used to go by Big Ben from Canada.
All right, go ahead, Ben.
Yeah. Anyways, about a year ago, I called in about a candidate that was libertarian leaning for the leadership of the Conservative Party.
Yeah.
He ended up losing on the last ballot by like 1%, and then just today, after some internal divisions with the current leader, he has decided to leave the party and start his own party. And then that's kind of caused me to want to have a broader conversation about whether liberty-minded individuals would have more success either within the mainstream trying to implement that, but even having to be part of a team, or outside of the mainstream. And I'd like to...
Yeah, that's interesting. You mean like within political parties, existing mainstream political parties? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So there in Canada, that would be like trying to infiltrate the Conservative, the NDP, or what's that third one that has a good many seats?
The Liberal Party, which is the current government.
Right.
Yeah, so like try to infiltrate one of those three and don't run as libertarians.
Yeah, I don't even know if I call that... I don't know if I even call that infiltration anymore, because in New Hampshire, it's relatively common. Now, I recognize
it's common in most states in the U.S. where people, because the ballot access laws in the U.S. are easier
Very
to
much so.
run as Republicans or Democrats.
Right.
Whereas in Canada, every candidate has the same requirements for getting on the ballot. Doesn't matter what party you're from.
Yeah, but the question, I think, is about success. The question, I think, to the party point would be, will the party support you as a libertarian conservative in Canada? You know what I mean? Or a libertarian liberal running in Canada.
Yeah, so from my experience, like in politics and stuff, I can tell you that it's not so much about infiltration as it is about building relationships with people. And if you're not good at building relationships in the Libertarian Party, you're probably not going to be effective at building them in any other party. It's kind of all comes down to working well in groups and working well with people. And some people are better than that than others. And if you go into any one of the major parties, there's already relationships that have been built that are strong blocks, so to speak, that you can't just go into a party and sever ties with people, like infiltrate it. I know people in the Libertarian Party tend to use that word a lot, infiltrate. But a lot of these parties, the people have been whining and dining with each other for decades. And you're not just going to come in there and take over their little establishment that they have going on.
Right. So somebody's not going to walk into the Republican Party and
Exactly.
change what the Republican Party stands for, which is we're not Democrats.
Right.
You can't force the party that stands on we're not Democrats to suddenly stand on some kind of principle that actually means that they have to stand for something.
In my opinion, the way that liberty in general on any issue is most achieved is usually from like a focus point, right? Like the issue of marijuana legalization. That issue, there are so many groups and nonprofits and political action committees out there that their one goal is to legalize marijuana. Their one goal is to go in and testify on bills relating to marijuana and why it's in the general public's best interest to decriminalize and or legalize it. Do you see what I mean? So when you look at like the political party grand scheme of things, that's not really what generates liberty so much as it is like the isolated grassroots efforts on each and every issue where liberty could be more abundant.
So Ben, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at this point. And if he decides to start a new party, I might actually throw my name behind him. And
any idea what the new party is going to wind up being based around? What the principles will be, if there will be principles?
I'm guessing it's going to be like a libertarian nationalist populist coalition, because he does agree with some Trumpian views, but he's not full Trump, I guess.
See, that's kind of like me. I feel like I'm like a conservative libertarian. Like I was a huge Trump. I was a huge Trump critic.
What we're all thinking.
Yeah, okay. Well, I was a huge Trump critic in the beginning, which I still am. I criticize a lot about him. There's plenty to not like. But then at the same time, I can't deny I've seen so much BS about him in the media that's just flat out lies, things about him and his supporters where I'm like, there's plenty to work with. Why do you have to lie? You know what I mean? Like, why publish the lies and misinformation in order to like demonize his entire support group?
Well, and not to pick on Heather, but you strike me as somewhat nationalist. I'm not saying nationalist like you're a Nazi. It's certainly not that. But you are very proud of your country. You take great pride in our country.
I take pride in the things I'm affiliated with. So, like my family, I want to do what's in the best interest of my family. My state, I want to do what's in the best interest of my state. My country, I want to do what's in the best interest of my country. I'll be the first to call out people in D.C. or our foreign policy that I don't agree with. But just because I'm pro-America, I want to make America an example for the rest of the world is basically like, you know what I mean? Like as a country, I think we should all agree to come together and make this country like set an example as best we can, and we do that by setting an example ourselves
by not bombing them.
It's not even about not bombing them. I mean,
it would be good.
No, because I mean, hey, if you know what, if somebody believes that they're under threat and they bomb someone, then that's defense. That's not, you know what I mean? If there's like some crazy, you know, there's terrorists in these world, people that like,
yes, no argument,
want to bomb us, and you know, like we want to encourage restraint as a nation, and we don't ever want to like use any type of, you know, foreign policy that's going to kill innocent people. And there's ways to discuss, you know, how we go about doing that. But I think completely as a nation, like not having some type of military is, I'm totally 100% against.
Yeah, I think anybody who looks at the issue, and I don't want to.
I agree with borders, essentially.
I know you do. You love your borders, but I didn't want to take away from Ben's call.
I prefer Barnes & Noble because Borders shut down a couple years ago.
That's a good point. Are there still Barnes & Nobles around?
There are still Barnes & Nobles, yes.
Wow.
And a few Books A Millions. Continue with your thought, Ben.
Well, I generally think that working with other people, just talking to them is the best way to put forward the ideas of liberty. And within parties, you have to be very team oriented, and I think that sometimes that could undermine what you want to do with your own ideas.
It can, but it also makes you come up with new and better arguments.
Yeah,
you know.
But
so how do I say this in a way that you're going to understand? Go ahead.
Well, the Libertarian Party, as far as the like who's more libertarian stuff within the party, is what drives me crazy.
Daryl.
Like, I don't even want to be involved with that kind of stuff.
The answer
you know
is
what I mean?
always Daryl. Daryl is the most libertarian.
Debatable.
Note, I'm not the one that said that.
No, I think I have a quote of you saying that. I am the most libertarian.
It's just unfortunate when you have all these people in a particular party that care about liberty. Meanwhile, they spend more time fighting with one another than they do, right? For every minute they spend arguing, there's people in jail for smoking weed.
Yep, I hear
It's
you.
like, where's your priorities? Like, you know what I mean? Find common ground with people and forget the stuff you don't agree on. You know?
And oftentimes you're gonna have to for there to be a likely. And I'm not against the Libertarian Party. I'm skeptical of its
progress.
Success. Just because of the numbers, but I do think that people that are libertarians running as Democrats and Republicans in the United States, you know, and if they're getting elected, hey, they're going to reach people that hadn't heard it before.
The vast majority of the time, they lose in a primary. Ben, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. So far in 2018, the Innocence Network has welcomed 32 wrongfully convicted people home from prison for crimes they did not commit and had a record-breaking 850 people unite in Memphis at their annual conference. The movement of freeing the innocent and reforming the criminal justice system is growing and would not be possible without your support. Together as 68 network organizations around the world, they've helped exonerate 513 people who spent a combined total of 7,804 years in prison. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
It either is or it isn't. When it comes down to it, that's all that really matters when choosing a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz. It's either certified by Mercedes-Benz factory-trained technicians or it isn't. It's either backed by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 5 years or it isn't. It's absolute confidence in 30,000 precision parts or it isn't. the Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned Sales Event, now through August 31st, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. Come in today and take advantage of first month's payment credit and special financing offers available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. There are those who settle for nothing less. For them, the choice is simple. It's either up to Mercedes-Benz standards or it isn't. It's flawlessly maintained or it isn't. It's either Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned or it isn't.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on first month's payment credit and certified pre-owned warranties.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind.
Like pineapple pizza?
Right.
Nobody's called about pineapple pizza, but yeah, I guess if you wanted to, you could call in about pineapple pizza.
So are you a no? Is that a no from you, Daryl?
Quick, find a story.
You could also call in about internet service providers, which is what we started the show off with, or you could continue the discussion about political parties, and we'll get back to the phones here in just a second. But first, want to make sure that I tell you about Liberty.menu. Liberty.menu is a directory for liberty-minded businesses, events, digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, kind of like on Yelp, but there's also a bit of a social networking aspect built into it where you can connect and share with other users. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu. Use code FTL to get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. Liberty.menu. In studio, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And we go to Derek calling in from Erie, Pennsylvania. Derek, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hi. Hugh's internet is terrible and pineapple pizza is great.
Yes.
So, yes, you touched on two things we discussed. So I've only dealt with Hughes once. Then I put in a like a cell phone repeater for a guy who lives off grid. And that was our only internet connection, so it was dicey.
Yeah, no, I tried to get a home phone through him and a whole ankle bracelet thing. Let's just move on.
All right.
Yeah. So what's on your mind?
The previous guy that called in that I was listening to, his agenda was, try to fight the system from the inside.
Right.
That's kind of what I took from it. And I disagree with that because what makes me believe in the libertarian system so much is that it's based on principles that are believed in heavily, and that's what matters. And if you go away from your principles to fight from the inside, then you're defeating the whole process.
That's a pretty common point of view up here in New Hampshire, I would say. And it's...
But I'm not...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, please.
Go ahead. No, I'm not hardcore libertarian. I don't think that every state needs to have its own currency or things like that. But I believe in just the freedom of individuals to just themselves.
Right.
And that's the way that this country will be run, and that's the way that human beings will be happiest.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't disagree. I look at, here's the two sides of my brain. On one side, I do believe that the most important thing we can have are vocal libertarians who are good at enunciating why we believe this system is superior, that why it's better, why we'll be more, we'll be wealthier, we'll be happier. There's all these things that drew me to libertarianism, and I think it's important that we have those really loud voices out there making these ideas well known amongst the population. That's one side of me. The second side of me says that, you know what, marijuana used to be, a solid misdemeanor in New Hampshire, and now it is at least decriminalized to some degree. To some degree, right?
Yeah.
But that is an incremental step. And I don't think I don't know of any state that ever went from marijuana is a felony to marijuana is legal and free. You know what I mean? That just doesn't happen. So I recognize the importance of steps, and I understand that. But I also understand that part of not giving up your principles. I think the real balancing act for people that really want to seriously affect change is to how do you resolve that within yourself.
Right. And there are people, and Derek, thank you for the call. There are some people within the Libertarian Party that they want to quibble over whether or not our candidate should say completely end the drug war, and that means remove the Controlled Substances Act and not have a DEA at all. And then there's other people that say, no, what we should advocate for is this tiny little step that we think will get us in the right direction.
Right.
And, that's sort of that discussion that happens of, what exactly should the message be? Yeah, certainly. Would I accept removing a penalty as a step in the right direction? Absolutely, 100%. But I'm still going to say we should get rid of the war on drugs and abolish the DEA.
Right. I don't disagree with that. And I think that's what needs to be, those are the things that need to be said. And how do we do that? Do we do that through, planks? Or these parts of the core of the Libertarian Party? And I know for a fact that a lot of those things are.
Right.
But the real question is if it happens to be you running for a certain position, how do you enunciate that to your neighbors? How do you explain that this is I want you to know exactly what you're going to get.
Right.
And while I support these things, I support the abolition of the DEA and I sell all the buildings, Right. Let's just do it full blown. The reality is that, if a measure came up that would decriminalize in some way or, further medical marijuana or whatever would happen to be, then you would support it. So,
right. Let's go to Gene, the Christian anarchist, calling in on the Discord. Gene, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, good morning or good afternoon.
Or good evening.
Yes, it's almost just about evening. Yeah, I don't know. I came back from Alaska, so my time is all messed up.
Gotcha.
Got it. What's on your mind?
I called because of, we all know how crazy the media is and how pretty much everything they say is a lie. But I just saw this story from San Francisco Gate that I just had to call about. In fact, I just now saw it, and I said, I got to tell you guys. It says, it's not just the fog turning the sky gray. San Francisco air quality is 3 times worse than Beijing. Obviously, these people have never been to Beijing.
You
I've
have.
been to Beijing many times.
Yes, you have.
And San Francisco air is not 3 times worse than Beijing by any measurement. I don't care if you're talking about particulate matter, if you're talking about certain types of chemicals in the air. I guarantee you Beijing's air is 3 times worse than San Francisco's, maybe even 5 times worse. So it's just an example of how you can't believe anything you read in the media.
Now, when you go over to Beijing and stuff like that, do you have to like prepare your body for it somehow? Like, is there like a shock to your body when you first get over there?
Well, I suppose it depends on how sensitive you are. So I'm kind of used to it, and so is my wife. And
right.
But we get scratchy nose and sore throat and that kind of things, and try not to go out in it too much. We try to also, if you're going to spend a lot of time out in it, you can wear a dust mask, which we carry those with us.
Right.
But they're kind of a pain in the neck, especially in the summertime, because you get all sweaty under them and all that stuff. But yeah, the air over there, when you can't see a building that's 3 blocks away from you, that's pretty bad air.
Yeah.
And I've never seen air in San Francisco or any U.S. city where you couldn't see 3 blocks unless it was foggy out.
Right.
But
right.
To have smog so thick that you can't see 3 blocks, that's really, really bad. And that's way worse than San Francisco has ever seen.
So does this article...
Yeah.
Does the article from the San Francisco Gate give any kind of indication of what metric they're using to make the claim that San Francisco is 3 times worse than Beijing?
Of course not. They don't have any charts, graphs, numbers, or anything to back it up. It's just an article saying, hey, we're worse than Beijing by 3 times. That's all it is. But going back to the level of smog, if you were in some of the San Francisco cities during the fires, and I used to live in Reno, and we would have a lot of wildfires coming over the mountains and stuff. There was some air quality during some of those wildfires that would be as bad as Beijing, maybe even a little bit worse. But if you're living at the edge of a wildfire, yes, your air is probably worse than Beijing. But if you're just living in the middle of any metropolis area in the United States, you're not even close.
Yeah, and L.A. used to be really bad, and it was notorious. It probably is still bad. I don't know. But part of that, it wasn't just the smog. It was smog combined with weather. It was how the Pacific airs blew in to L.A. that caused these, the smog not to go away.
Ugh.
And I'll tell you that the air is way better than it was in the 70s.
Yeah.
Because first time I drove to San Francisco, or actually to LA, was in 1969.
Gene, thank you for the call. This is Free Talk Live.
Let's talk tough. Let's talk comfort. Let's talk about down-home value. Made in the USA blue jeans, like you wore as a kid. Remember?
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch. Guarantee you'll love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it. Others don't.
For good old-fashioned comfort, get Diamond Gusset jeans. Every stitch guaranteed. And our Defender motorcycle jean comes Kevlar reinforced. See them at GUSSET.com. That's gusset.com. Or call 888-848-7738. That's 888-848-7738. Diamond Gusset jeans got it. Others don't.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, August 23rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.62 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,191 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $20, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,423. Antiwar.com reports Senator Chris Murphy's amendment to withdraw all funding for the U.S. involvement in the war in Yemen was blocked by Senate leadership on Wednesday, preventing it from getting a vote for inclusion in the 2019 Defense Appropriations Act. There was language aiming to limit U.S. involvement in Yemen in the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act, but President Trump's signing statement indicated that he does not intend to comply with that. This meant using control over the funding through the Appropriations Act, which was the next real chance to require compliance. The Murphy amendment said largely the same thing as the language in the NDAA, except with the added threat of revoking funding. It seeks for the administration to certify that any U.S. involvement complies with international law. President Trump objected to offering such a report to Congress. Senate leaders complained they felt the Appropriations Act was too important to pass to allow it to be cluttered by amendments that limit where the war funding included in it goes. This means, barring another bid for a War Powers Act challenge, the unauthorized U.S. involvement in the war will continue. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com. UPI reports existing home sales fell again in July, likely because of the high mortgage rates and high prices, continuing a 5-year decline, according to the National Association of Realtors. Sales of previously owned homes fell 0.7% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of $5.34 million per year. The figure is 1.5% lower than it was in July 2017 and marks the 4th consecutive month of decline. Despite solid economic growth in the United States in the past year, rising prices, higher mortgage rates, and a limited inventory of available homes have forced some potential buyers out of the market. NAB economist Lawrence Yun said too many would-be buyers are either being priced out or are deciding to postpone their search until more homes in their price range come onto the market. Realtors have warned that many buyers, notably first-time buyers of homes, are being priced out. MarketWatch reported on Wednesday that they now acknowledge that other potential customers have chosen to wait until market conditions change. First-time purchasers made up 32% of all home buyers in July, a percentage slightly higher than in June, but still well below long-time averages. The NAB report noted an 8.3% decline in existing home sales in the Northeast in July, a 4.4% increase in the West, a 1.4% decline in the Midwest, and a 0.4% decline in the South. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Reuters reports a federal appeals court on Wednesday upheld a permanent injunction blocking Alabama from banning the most common method of second trimester abortions. But two judges from the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Atlanta used the 3-0 decision to cast doubt on the Supreme Court's abortion jurisprudence, including that terminating a pregnancy is a constitutional right. Abortion is a central issue in the U.S. Senate confirmation process for President Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh. A close vote is expected. Some states are passing restrictive abortion laws they hope might win favor from a conservative Supreme Court. Alabama was trying to enforce a 2016 law criminalizing the dilation and evacuation procedure, which the state calls dismemberment abortions. The law was challenged by the West Alabama Women's Center and Alabama Women's Center, the state's only abortion clinics performing the procedure. The American Civil Liberties Union represented them. Last October, U.S. District Judge Myron Thompson blocked enforcement, saying the law would effectively ban abortions in Alabama after 15 weeks. In Wednesday's decision, the first by a federal appeals court on the issue, Chief Judge Ed Carnes said the law imposed an undue burden on the right to end pregnancy before the fetus is viable. The ACLU said federal judges have blocked similar bans in 5 other states. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Like most married couples, Dale and Barbara Patterson like to shake things up from time to time. The couple of 12 years says they've been able to keep their relationship spontaneous and interesting by bickering in all sorts of different positions and even different rooms.
There was a while there when our petty nitpicking got pretty predictable. Dale would finish harping on some stupid bullshit first, and before I had time to get a word in, he would just let out a groan, roll over, and fall asleep. Now he really takes his time ripping me a new one over every little thing.
Yeah, we'll just pounce on each other the second we get home from work in the evening. And then just go right back at it in the morning. I mean, sometimes we'll look at each other directly in the eyes when we're having an argument. Other times she turns her back on me and I just scream at her from behind.
We're not exactly shy about doing it in public anymore. Dale gets pretty worked up when there are people around who could be watching or listening.
I still can't believe you forgot.
Not now.
Oh, come on.
I said not now.
Oh,
what?
Don't even.
Don't even what? I asked.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off hour number 2 in studio tonight. It's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And you can call in and join us and freely talk live by calling 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We started off talking about these internet service providers, and apparently there are at least 850 small ISPs, according to Ars Technica, that are members of NTCA, which somehow stands for the Rural Broadband Association. Still not sure how that one works out. But these companies, in addition to USA Telecom, which represents AT&T, Verizon, and CenturyLink, they have joined together to say, federal government, you have regulated us too much. Now give us money.
Yeah, and the fact that you're making it too difficult for us to do, and we want to give everyone in the United States to be potential customers of ours,
but we can't afford to have everybody actually be a potential customer, so you've got to pay for this.
Yep. And a lot of local, municipalities and things like that have, said, you know what, we don't need them. We've got our own utility poles in our towns. We'll just put Wi-Fi on all of them. We'll be our own broadband operator. But then
one would think that might be a good idea, aside from the whole thing of government shouldn't be running those sorts of things.
Right.
But this article says that 20 states have passed laws restricting municipal broadband.
Yeah, and I think what this article does is it illustrates how telecom companies have painted themselves into a regulatory corner.
Right.
They have begged Washington to regulate them. Please regulate us. We have to do that, which basically says raise the bars of entry to any potential competitor of ours.
Yes.
So they cannot afford to enter. But then if we need money, we have to come back to you to fulfill your goal of making sure everybody has broadband. So
right, because we can't open ourselves up to competition.
Right. The article here continues saying to close the rural broadband gap, the U.S. needs, quote, solutions that unite the public and private sectors to finish the job of building a truly connected nation, unquote. Spalter and Bloomfield wrote, this public-private model is without question the only acceptable path forward, just as it was in the wiring rural America with electricity and building our nation's highways. Well, beg to differ, but a couple of those things happened without government. Electricity was often run by farmers using barbed wire fence lines. The same thing was done with the first telephone systems. Same thing was done in radio by just people doing it themselves.
Right, and the mention of the nation's highways, I'm curious here, are they talking about the roads that existed prior to the Eisenhower Interstate whatever Act?
No.
Or are they talking about when the Lincoln Highway, which took existing roads and just sort of connected them and turned it into US 30?
Right.
Like a lot of these things that are referred to as the nation's highways,
right,
were roads that existed and then the federal government took them over.
Yeah. And if I can just put a plug out for Highway 30, I've been on Highway 30 in the east, in Pennsylvania.
So have I.
Been on Highway 30 in the west, in Oregon.
Pittsburgh to Philly is a long drive on US 30.
I have been on 30 in Ohio. I've been on 30 in, I think, Wyoming and Colorado. It sucks.
Yeah.
No
do
matter
you
where
know
you're
the
at.
reason why some people opt to drive on US 30 across Pennsylvania instead of hopping on the interstate?
Masochism?
No.
No? Okay.
To save like $30 in tolls.
Well, yeah, you got that.
Because the turnpike basically runs almost parallel in Pennsylvania, but you get hit with, depending on how far you're going, anywhere from $10 to $30 worth of tolls.
Yeah, and all I can say is if you've got the time, feel free. You'll see some lovely sights. It'll take you 3 times as long, and you'll be stuck in some lovely traffic.
Yes.
Let's see. Broadband providers need a committed partner to finish the job of connecting unserved communities. That partner should be all of us, Americans, in the form of our government, they wrote.
And the they, again, being spokespersons for U.S. Telecom and the Rural Broadband Association. So let me sort of translate this final statement from them, and then we'll get to the phones. They said, broadband providers need a committed partner to finish the job of connecting unserved communities. In other words, we can't do this based solely on our customer base.
Right.
So what we need, Chris, we need you in New Hampshire to pay for these 5 guys that live in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, that intentionally don't live close enough to get internet, but because we want everybody to be connected, we're going to run a wire by their house. Anyway, we need you to pay for that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
We need, Heather, we need you to pay to make sure that Sarah in New Mexico can get the internet if she so chooses.
I knew that was coming. I knew that the Sarah analogy was coming
on
up.
Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, yes, I got breaking news. Smith's grocery store or Kroger, they're known for Kroger stores. It's a nationwide
Kroger?
grocery store.
Yeah, I've heard of Kroger before.
Yes. How about this? They're going to phase out all plastic bags eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, plastic bags. They're going to end usage of plastic bags.
Good.
Okay.
So,
You think that's a good idea?
well, the thing is, they're going to start out in Seattle, Washington.
Well, they'll have tremendous luck there. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. I am in support of it. I am.
Okay.
Because we do have to stop all of this plastic pollution all over. It's overwhelming.
What about straws?
Yeah. How about straws? Do they
You think
drive you
should
nuts?
we ban straws, Sarah?
Well, I have stopped using straws. I don't need them. I don't even ask for the lid when I get water.
You have such a
Stay
kind
plastic.
soul, Sarah.
How about people that are bedridden and the only way they can drink is through a straw?
Well, you know what? I think we have to make exceptions for the handicapped people, like
Good.
those people that really need. I mean, otherwise, if you don't need it, why use it?
I like
only
straws because I don't like to stain my teeth.
Does that help?
Yeah, if you're
I don't
drinking dark
need it, so-
drinks, and drink like
What dark drinks do you drink through? Well, I guess, yeah, most drinks you know, like
You
sodas.
could
and
drink a
tea,
coffee through a straw, that frappy mocha latte chino.
Right. Double soy.
Yeah,
for
I don't
sure.
need it. When I ask for water, I don't ask for the top lid. That's more plastic. I don't
Right.
ask for the straw.
So
I
let me
do
ask this
it.
question, Sarah. Is Kroger also getting rid of plastic containers that various food products come in, and they're going to completely biodegradable stuff, or are they only getting rid of plastic bags?
I think they're gonna just do plastic bag one thing at a time, and they're gonna start in Seattle. It's a very recyclable city over there.
Right. You,
So
you
they're
can
gonna start
recycle
with
the whole
that,
thing
and they're gonna-
as far as I'm concerned. Go ahead.
Well, I don't know how your state is, and we're a pretty recycling state. We have recycling bins. We have 3 recycling bins here in my complex. We're really into recycling here, so I don't know how
The thing
we're
that-
going to accept the plastic bag deal, because most people, they just want convenience. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's if they don't have a bag, they just want somebody to just give them a plastic bag.
Yeah, but see, the thing is now, the thing that I don't agree with this is like all the small local businesses, this is just something else now that's going to be like a fee to them, right? Because they're going to either have to, pay for more expensive bags, like paper bags, which they might not be able to afford if their budgets are tight, which could potentially, regulation after regulation, hurt them in the long run.
Sarah, thank you for the call. And luckily, she wasn't talking about a new regulation. She was talking about a company policy at Kroger. This is Free Talk Live.
Yeah, but they're...
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories. While I say these hobgoblins are imaginary, I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Daryl.
And Tether.
And Chris.
And want to make sure that you are aware that Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global. Horizon.global. So we just got a call a few moments ago from Sarah in Albuquerque, who called in to say that she heard that Kroger was getting rid of plastic bags. And so then that started a discussion about the use of plastic bags and the use of other single-use plastics. And Heather, I think there was a point that you wanted to make, and then I've actually pulled up a news story about this so that we can actually figure out what exactly is going on with Kroger.
Well, see, now that I know what Kroger is, I think it's not actually a bad idea. If a business itself makes its own policies, feel free to do that. More power to you. Right. It's when government bans bags and stuff that, I disagree with, like maybe the small business that can't afford like the top quality product can afford the convenience of the bags or something. Or I don't know how to say it, but
you're exactly right.
And Chris, you run a small business.
I do, and we go through a ton of bags. And we could provide cheap plastic bags for our goods, and our goods they're not cheap,
there's nice stuff there.
It's nice stuff, and you can spend $50 easy, and we don't feel that it is right to put that into a cheesy plastic thanks for shopping here bag that doesn't say anything. So we pay a little bit more, and we get a nice kind of craft paper colored buy local bag, and it looks good. And we think that's a good thing.
There are businesses like Aldi, for example, and Aldi is I think a German company, but they've got stores all over the U.S., and people that shop at Aldi know that you don't get free bags when you shop.
Right.
If you want to have some plastic bags to put your stuff in, you have to pay for the bags. So what most people do is they'll either take one of the cardboard boxes that Aldi has lying around that are free for the taking, because then it's less that they actually have to pay to get rid of, and they'll put all of their groceries in that and then carry the groceries out in the cardboard box, or they'll bring their own bags.
Right.
So I think if people know heading into the grocery store, oh, right, I have to have my own bags here, they'll be prepared. But this story from Fox about Kroger, the nation's largest grocery chain, will be plastic bag free at all of its nearly 2,800 stores by 2025. So this is like a 7-year plan that they have here.
Why does it take 7 years to get rid of bags?
Right.
Good question. Kroger, which orders about 6 billion bags per year, will begin phasing out the use immediately at one of its chains based in Seattle.
One of its chains?
That
Good.
chain being QFC. The company based in Cincinnati, Ohio, operates again about 2,800 stores in 35 states and the District of Criminals, serving almost 9 million people daily through 24 different chains. Kroger is seeking customer feedback and will be working with outside groups throughout the transition. They will begin phasing out plastic bag use as of today at QFC stores in and around Seattle, and they expect that chain to be bag-free, plastic bag-free, by the end of the year.
Right.
So it sounds to me they're saying at this particular chain, we're not ordering any more plastic bags. So whatever bags we have, we'll go through. They'll still, I'm guessing, be offering the option of paper bags.
I don't doubt it. And in the meantime, be sure to give us credit, Seattle. Look how environmentally conscious we are. Look how much we care. Come into our stores where you won't find any of those filthy, disgusting plastic bags.
But
so there's a marketing aspect to this too.
There's still going to be single-use plastic packaging on the shelves.
Yes.
There's going to be all of this other plastic throughout.
As every coffee company moves, Folgers moves from tin cans to plastic, and that's and how much you look at a drinking straw, because people freak out about a drinking straw. Look at that versus a coffee tub, a modern plastic tub. It's insane, and it's all about optics. None of it's based in reality.
Right,
and
I've not seen a video on YouTube of anybody pulling a coffee tub out of a turtle's nose, but I did see that really sad video, and I have to admit, it was a very sad video of the turtle having the straw pulled out of his nose.
Okay, well, on the straws, because I did look into this when it was a big story, and I just want to share this, and this isn't a story we're going to go into great depth, but Reason sort of asked, Reason.com, it's a very libertarian publication.
Yes.
Asked,
all right.
Where is this? Because the allegation that is thrown out by legislators and media and activists left and right is Americans use 500 million straws a day. Almost a billion straws a day.
That's utterly ridiculous.
Well,
that's every man, woman, and child in this country using 1.5 straws a day.
You listen to the news and you will hear 500 million straws a day, left and right. You will hear this.
First time I heard this number is from you just now.
That's okay. But if you research like older stories on this, look at anytime you see anything about drinking straws, where did this stat come from? Reason's story is called Media, Legislators, Activists Stick by Straw Stats, produced by 9-year-old. Yes, a 9-year-old. The source for this number, which is often quoted by American media, is an unconfirmed 2011 phone survey of 3 straw manufacturers conducted by 9-year-old Milo Kress. That's a pretty shaky foundation for an argument, but that hasn't stopped media outlets, activist organizations, and government officials from using the figure to justify restrictions on the use of plastic straws. Many outlets were either oblivious in the figure's origins or mistakenly attributed it to the National Park Service. Learning its true source did spark some self-reflection from the Washington Post, which has cited...
This kid must have gotten the number from, like, the head of the EPA or something, right?
The self-reflection by the Washington Post, which has often cited the 500 million number in some of its reporting, and which ran a story that was somewhat skeptical of Kress's findings. Sadly, that introspection was short-lived. The Post Friday was back to uncritically citing Kress's research, saying in a story that, quote, by some estimates, Americans throw away 500 million plastic straws a day, unquote.
All right, so there's more on this because I want to hear where this number came from. And then there's a little bit more to the Fox article about Kroger ditching plastic bags and apparently other companies doing some similar things. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733.
Healthcare reform is confusing. With the loss of the Obamacare mandate, those needing help can now choose an affordable alternative. By joining Liberty HealthShare, you're part of a community of health-conscious Americans all over the country who control their own healthcare costs and choices. Liberty HealthShare is not insurance. It is an association of self-pay patients who unite with like-minded people to share the cost of their medical needs. Neighbor helping neighbor. Learn more now by going to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dillon Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dillon bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dillon bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dillon bottle today at byln.co. That's byln.co.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. That's how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind and maybe change the topic of the show, which is what Sarah did a little bit ago when she called in to talk about plastic bags.
And that sent us down a rabbit hole, Daryl.
Yes, a very big rabbit hole laden with all 500 million discarded plastic straws, and we'll come up with that number here in just a moment.
You know what really could, though? It just made me think of this. Like, what really could be more efficient?
What's that?
Kids' toys. Because I don't know how many times I've gone out and I bought a toy for my daughter, right? And it'll be like this huge box, and it has like all colors and all this stuff, and then you open the box and it's a tiny little toy in it.
Right.
But it's like loaded and all surrounded by all this plastic.
Well, that's so the kid doesn't accidentally swallow the entire box.
Well,
I'm serious, though. The thing could be the size of your fist if you make a fist. Like, the toy will be that big, right?
Right.
And then there'll be like 7 inches of plastic
For those of you
in
not
every
in the
direction
studio, her fist is not
to
that
make
large.
like, it's like a baseball or something.
Right.
So there'll be like this one little baseball-sized toy in a box that's like 2.5 feet long.
But that box displays really well on a store shelf when it's about knee height.
Right.
Or
and I've ordered
that's why
things
they're big
from
and colorful.
Amazon where it's, like a very small sort of thing. Think I think one time I ordered like a USB card.
Okay.
Or not USB card, but the SD card that would plug into like a USB thing.
Right.
And it was inside an envelope, inside a big box.
Oh, so
that's how I ordered dental floss off of Amazon.
And they put it in a big giant box.
It was in a huge box, yeah. My mom was like, "What's that?" And I open it up and I take it out. And she goes, "Really?"
So we'll continue this discussion about waste here in just a moment.
Oh, God.
But I want to let you know that if you like the show, then consider joining the AMP program. AMP is advertise, market, and promote. And you're $5 per month. You get perks for that.
I thought that meant annual monthly pledger for a while.
No, advertise, market, and
sorta.
promote. Yeah, I'm just trying to.
I know.
Annual, monthly pledges. Those are different.
Pledger. It
things.
sort of
But
works.
annual and monthly are different terms.
That is a good point. Okay.
Advertise, market, promote. You help us do those things. Advertise, market, and promote the show, not only to potential new listeners, but also to program directors of radio stations across the country, because they're the ones that make the decision to add us to new radio stations. We're currently at about 190 radio stations across the country. We can be on 190 more. We just need your help. amp.freetalklive.com. And I was mentioning perks. There's the ad-free version of the podcast, meaning that once the podcast or the show is done at the end of the night, we have a software program that compiles the podcast. The regular podcast that you would find on SoundCloud has a few commercials in it. The AMP version doesn't have those. There's also an AMP-only Discord room. There's an AMP-only Facebook group.
Yep.
That, Chris, you're in, I think.
Yeah.
I don't really know how active that is recently, but it's a thing there.
Active. Not a week goes by that there's not posts in there. There were a bunch of posts in there today about people visiting New Hampshire not for the first time, but visiting up
I
here.
did see that. There's somebody that's going to be visiting tomorrow, and maybe you'll stop by the studio.
Jesse. Shout out to Jesse if he's listening.
freetalklive.com. So, Chris, you've got a story here from Reason.com about where apparently a 9-year-old was able to do a FOIA request and get every government record that's ever been created.
Everything.
And he added all of these numbers up to determine 500 million straws per day were discarded.
Well, actually, the 9-year-old, because he was 9 years old at the time, decided he could just call up the 3 largest straw manufacturers and say, about how many of these things do you guys sell? And they gave him 3 numbers. He added those together, being a 9-year-old, He knows addition at this point.
Yep.
And he comes up with a number of 500 million. And therefore...
Well, he probably came up with a number bigger than that and then divided by the number of days in the year.
Yeah. No, I think that was pretty much it. Others are sticking to that figure too, because the Washington Post actually ran a story. Maybe we can post this somewhere with the show notes. A California bill would jail people for handing out straws. It may be based on a child's research. So the next time you hear this 500 million number for the number of straws that Americans go through every day, question that. Others are sticking to the figure. But more credible estimates of American straw usage do, in fact, exist. A marketing analysis by Technomics specializes in researching the food industry. Every 2 years, it performs a study of disposable food service packaging. Its most recent effort from 2016 looked at over 30 different categories of packaging. Those numbers do not include straws purchased for home consumption, but David Henkes, a senior principal at the firm, says the study captures about 95% of the straw market. Technomics found that Americans use 172 million straws each day. Given a growth rate of 2 to 3% per year in the straw market, Henkes estimates the figure today is somewhere around 175 million. Kress reached his $500 million figure by calling 3 straw manufacturers, asking for their estimates of the straw market, and then averaging the answers he got. Given the fragmented nature of the food service business, Henkes said that approach is bound to give you a bad figure. Quote, you tend to get the bias of those 3 companies. Some of them may have big accounts like McDonald's or Starbucks or something, Henkes tells Reason.
Right.
But what those miss is the parts of the business that aren't using as many straws. What you're essentially doing is extrapolating your small part of what you know about the business to the larger food service industry. For this reason, Technomics adopts a triangular approach, surveying about 1,000 restaurant operators, looking at data from distributors such as Gordon Food Service and U.S. Foods, and examining numbers from packaging companies, several of which are Technomics clients. It seems fair to say that Technomics' survey is more rigorous than Kress's. But I'm telling you, folks, when you hear 500 million straws, realize that was a science fair answer put together by a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And it still gets quoted every day.
Wow. Yeah, and I saw an infographic not too long ago where it showed the amount of plastic waste that comes from various parts of the world, and the United States was one of these smaller portions of that. And then it had it broken down between all the different types of plastic waste.
Yes.
And straws was like a very small fraction.
Like less than 1% of
I think
total
it was
waste.
like 0.6%.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I
again...
thought it was like 0.02% or something.
It might have been 0.6% of plastic waste from the United States.
Right. And
but
all this...
in either case, it's a very small percentage.
Yeah, and this stuff came to a head really in February as the majority leader of California's State Assembly, Ian Calderon, had introduced a bill that would, as written, impose jail sentences of up to 6 months if a restaurant worker handed out a single unsolicited plastic straw. 6 months in jail.
Are
we keeping you awake?
Utterly ridiculous. And let's talk about some of these other places because, again, Kroger Foods announced, or Kroger Grocers announcing that by 2025, at their nearly 2,800 stores, they're going to go plastic bag free. Again, no comment on all of the other single-use plastic that is sold in their facilities. But Fox News says this is a broader shift, or rather there is a broader shift underway at major U.S. companies to reduce waste. Disney, Starbucks, Marriott, and McDonald's are getting rid of plastic straws. McDonald's said this year that they will only use recycled or other environmentally friendly materials for soda cups, Happy Meal boxes, and other packaging by 2025. And Dunkin' Donuts is phasing out polystyrene foam cups by the end of 2020. And IKEA plans to eliminate all single-use plastic products, by 2020. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I'm David Hall, founder of Diamond Gusset, where we're proud of our 100% grown and sewn American-made jeans. Whether you're out for dinner, working on the farm, or on the road, Diamond Gusset Jeans offers a full spectrum of styles and sizes for any occasion. To find yours, visit gusset.com. That's GUSSET.com. Our loyal customers enable us to continue sponsoring Liberty media outlets like the one you're listening to. In Liberty, David Hall, Diamond Gusset Jean Company.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original, most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
A report on obesity rates released this week by the CDC confirmed that millions of courageous Americans continue to overcome the media's persistent pressure to be thin. Researchers told reporters that while the vast majority of film and television continues to portray thin, in-shape people, over 30% of Americans remain resolved in their effort to stand up to idealized images of men and women.
Every day, people are inundated with unvarying images of slim men and women, but millions of heroic Americans continue doing their best every day to maintain BMIs 35 or higher. These people aren't afraid to fly in the face popular culture deems acceptable and bravely eat and drink whatever they want, whenever they want.
In other news, the nation's single men announce a plan to change their bed sheets by 2019. A woman who left the room crying earlier expects to jump back into the party just like that. And a courtroom artist is clearly infatuated with the bailiff. This 2.5-minute long session of immersion therapy is finally complete. Your crippling fear of watching video news recaps should no longer be a problem. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment, it gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And Chris is over there 3D printing plastic straws or something. I'm not really sure what that...
I just reached into my bag. I pulled out a webcam, a bunch of 550 paracord, and a antenna.
Yeah, and I don't know why you need any of that.
Because I'm looking for a USB-C cable.
Got it. And none of those things are plastic straws. See, I thought you were just like going into business for yourself, printing plastic straws. We've been talking about that. And I did find the infographic that I referenced in the last segment where it shows the breakdown. 74.9% of all plastic waste in the ocean comes from Asia. 16.4% comes from Africa. 8.1% comes from the rest of the world, not including the United States, and 0.6% comes from the United States.
0.6%.
And of that 0.6%, 0.02% of the plastic waste from the United States is straws.
And I'm going to say is estimated to be plastic straws.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to throw estimated on all of that because nobody has the exact numbers of what trash comes from anywhere unless...
Right, and nobody actually, has any actual number of, here's the actual amount of all of the waste in the ocean.
Right.
It's a bunch of guesses.
Yeah. Yep. But that's really interesting that, and yet we have legislators here who have honestly put forward 6 months in jail for a restaurant worker.
Now, did that actually come out of committee?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because there's a lot of legislation that gets filed and then it stays in committee.
Right.
Like I heard somebody
buried.
a couple days ago, they were talking about that States Act that I forget what states is an acronym for, but it's federal legislation that some people say would decriminalize cannabis at the federal level. No, it does no such thing. What it does is it then makes it a federal offense to violate a state cannabis law. So in New Hampshire, it's not a criminal penalty to have less than 3/4 of an ounce of cannabis. Asterisk if it's your first 2 offenses. But let's say you have 1 ounce. Then it would be a misdemeanor in New Hampshire, which, if this States Act passes, you would then be eligible to be charged with a federal offense because you violated the state law. Luckily, that never made it out of committee.
Right.
I know a lot of supposed conservatives and liberty conservatives that were all happy that that thing got introduced because they didn't really understand what it did. But when you actually read what it did, it turns everything into a federal offense, and that's no bueno. Let's go back to the phones where we've got Matthew calling in from Netterley, Louisiana, watching us on YouTube. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, Darryl, don't make a federal case out of everything, for God's sake. So I have an answer for Heather on the giant boxes for shipping small products.
Yeah, what's going on?
The companies that ship these products precisely want to fill the truck all the way up so as to prevent damage to the product from the cargo shifting back and forth.
Interesting.
And Amazon is actually notorious for this. Walmart is so much more efficient. They've been shipping products forever. Now, about plastic waste, why don't we just burn it?
Right? Because that would release chemicals that are known to the state of California to cause cancer.
I believe the state of California is known to the state of California as being carcinogenic.
Yeah, and just as a bit of an update, yes, that law did pass. It does not make it a felony, but they have enacted a law that prohibits full-service dine-in restaurants from offering plastic straws to customers unless they are requested.
So if I, say, go to Walmart and buy a box of straws,
hell yes,
hells yes, California, will they be confiscated at the airport?
No, I'll be on the corner. I'll be on the corner outside the Starbucks going, yo, you need a straw with that latte. Why not, man? We'll create a whole black market.
Right, so I'm glad you mentioned that, Chris, because it doesn't say that you're not allowed to have a straw.
No, full-service restaurants cannot offer them.
they can't give you one unless you say you want one.
Right.
And
that's so funny.
I don't think that Starbucks would even classify as a full-service restaurant.
Probably not.
Some of the memes that came from this whole straw thing was like, had me dying.
It's
like there was
absolutely ridiculous.
There was this one guy that was sitting in the front seat of a car and he was like sweating profusely and like really nervous, and it shows like the police lights behind his car, and it's like that moment you get pulled over in California and remember you have a straw in the glove compartment.
Oh, that's great.
Matthew, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just one last thing. There's, I just remembered an old saying from a Southern politician. My opponent is arsonist in the field of straw man that he erected. That's it for tonight. Ciao.
Have a good night. Thank you for the call.
I wonder
Your
if straw
calls.
man arguments are also illegal in California.
Your
What are they gonna
calls
do then?
And thoughts, welcome 855-450 free. So yeah, on this whole straw thing, let's actually have you either one of you looked into the history of straw use in the United States?
All I know is I've always had a thing of straws in our house growing up.
Yeah.
Like we've always had a pack of them. We get the pack 100.
Were they the bendy ones?
Yes.
Yeah, we always had that too.
Mhm.
So, it was...
So I like the bendy straws.
I like bendy too.
But like at, say, a Chili's or an Applebee's.
Right.
Where you've got a reusable cup.
Right.
There is no lid, so it's not like you're going through the drive-thru of McDonald's.
Right.
Where you've got a lid and you've got to have something to drink out of.
True.
At these full-service restaurants, from what I've been able to find, the reason that they started using straws was because there were fears of germs being transmitted from customer to customer because the cups weren't being washed properly.
Well, I have worked in restaurants, and I'd say that's an absolute possibility. It is. It is a somewhat hygienic way to do it. The other thing, and people kind of laugh, but there are a lot of people that it's more comfortable for them to drink through a straw, or they have some medical condition.
Or sensitive teeth.
With sensitive teeth, that's a good one too. I mean, there's just all sorts of reasons. The point is I went over the Constitution again last night, and I cannot find in there where the federal government is granted the power to regulate drinking straws. Now, maybe it's in there somewhere. Maybe it is. I'm not too clear on, some of the later parts of that. Maybe it was an amendment. Maybe there's a straw amendment out there that I'm unfamiliar with. It's possible.
But, my point is, I don't use a straw. I don't like it when they just hand me a straw.
You consider it a waste.
I ask for a refill, and they're like, oh, I'll bring you another cup. And then they have a straw in it. And then they see my pile of straws that I'm not using. It's ridiculous. And I don't think that restaurants, as a policy, should just go willy-nilly giving people things they don't want.
Well, if they were to go really willy-nilly, dude, they'd give people crazy straws, because that would be crazy.
That'd be cool.
You look sane, Daryl.
That's a
Here's
straw
a straight
man
straw,
argument.
but not a crazy straw.
It's a
crazy
straw man argument. So is there any more to say on this straw thing, the plastic bag thing, oversight? And I'm curious, and on the one hand, what Matthew said made sense about wanting to be able to fill the trucks the right
is
way.
interesting.
But at the same time, they're not sitting there measuring things and then packaging them after they have the truck. Oh, we need one box exactly this size. Put that USB stick in the largest box you have.
I think
fill this
Chris
spot.
hit the nail on the head with that one. And I think it's more or less to do with how it looks on a shelf and how much attention it grabs and how much space it takes up in order to keep.
Well, now
other
we're talking
products
about
in
different things, because
marketing.
If you order something from Amazon, that's not sitting on a shelf.
No, but I think the idea of Walmart and Amazon Tetris playing that with the big truck to fill it up to maximum size explains some things. Most things I get from Amazon, they're packed sensibly. Today I got a laptop that had 2 inches of spare, space around the box that the laptop was in. It was weird.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733.
Have you experienced the miracle of CBDs? They can help you reduce suffering, reduce stress, help you sleep better, modulate inflammation in the body, and is absolutely safe. Meta Hemp Solutions offers a radically innovative approach to CBDs for exceptional results. Stop suffering and reduce your stress now. Isn't it time for a good night's sleep? Stop worrying about tomorrow today. Lab tested for potency, purity, and is non-psychoactive. Free shipping to all 50 states. Try our product risk-free, money-back guarantee. Use code GCN15 to get 15% off. That's code GCN15 to get 15% off. Offer ends soon, so visit MetaHemp Solutions today at metahempsolutions.com or call 833-858-7500. Suffer no more. Get rid of the stress and sleep better. Get our product now at metahempsolutions.com. That's metahempsolutions.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, August 23rd, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.62 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,191 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $20, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,423. Antiwar.com reports Senator Chris Murphy's amendment to withdraw all funding for the U.S. involvement in the war in Yemen was blocked by Senate leadership on Wednesday, preventing it from getting a vote for inclusion in the 2019 Defense Appropriations Act. There was language aiming to limit U.S. involvement in Yemen in the 2019 National Defense Authorization Act, but President Trump's signing statement indicated that he does not intend to comply with that. This meant using control over the funding through the Appropriations Act, which was the next real chance to require compliance. The Murphy amendment said largely the same thing as the language in the NDAA, except with the added threat of revoking funding. It seeks for the administration to certify that any U.S. involvement complies with international law. President Trump objected to offering such a report to Congress. Senate leaders complained they felt the Appropriations Act was too important to pass to allow it to be cluttered by amendments that limit where the war funding included in it goes. This means, barring another bid for a War Powers Act challenge, the unauthorized U.S. involvement in the war will continue. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com. UPI reports existing home sales fell again in July, likely because of the high mortgage rates and high prices, continuing a 5-year decline, according to the National Association of Realtors. Sales of previously owned homes fell 0.7% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of $5.34 million per year. The figure is 1.5% lower than it was in July 2017 and marks the 4th consecutive month of decline. Despite solid economic growth in the United States in the past year, rising prices, higher mortgage rates, and a limited inventory of available homes have forced some potential buyers out of the market. NAB economist Lawrence Yun said too many would-be buyers are either being priced out or are deciding to postpone their search until more homes in their price range come onto the market. Realtors have warned that many buyers, notably first-time buyers of homes, are being priced out. MarketWatch reported on Wednesday that they now acknowledge that other potential customers have chosen to wait until market conditions change. First-time purchasers made up 32% of all home buyers in July, a percentage slightly higher than in June, but still well below long-time averages. The NAB report noted an 8.3% decline in existing home sales in the Northeast in July, a 4.4% increase in the West, a 1.4% decline in the Midwest, and a 0.4% decline in the South.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com.
Reuters reports a federal appeals court on Wednesday upheld a permanent injunction blocking Alabama from banning the most common method of second trimester abortions. But two judges from the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Atlanta used the 3-0 decision to cast doubt on the Supreme Court's abortion jurisprudence, including that terminating a pregnancy is a constitutional right. Abortion is a central issue in the U.S. Senate confirmation process for President Donald Trump's Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. A close vote is expected. Some states are passing restrictive abortion laws they hope might win favor from a conservative Supreme Court. Alabama was trying to enforce a 2016 law criminalizing the dilation and evacuation procedure, which the state calls dismemberment abortions. The law was challenged by the West Alabama Women's Center and Alabama Women's Center, the state's only abortion clinics performing the procedure. The American Civil Liberties Union represented them. Last October, U.S. District Judge Myron Thompson blocked enforcement, saying the law would effectively ban abortions in Alabama after 15 weeks. In Wednesday's decision, the first by a federal appeals court on the issue, Chief Judge Ed Carnes said the law imposed an undue burden on the right to end pregnancy before the fetus is viable. The ACLU said federal judges have blocked similar bans in 5 other states. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The American robin heralds the beginning of spring in temperate climates across North America. Its red breast makes it easily identifiable as the most disturbingly efficient murderer in the animal kingdom. Robins inculcate their young with these twisted maws. We see an adult robin feeding its young with the ripped-apart viscerae of an innocent worm. Like the Greek hero Atreus eating the flesh of his children at his own table, this black deed must surely curse the entire species. Even the most depraved acts of humanity pale in comparison to the robin's wickedness. Like idiot rapists, they commit their foul deeds with neither foresight nor hindsight. They live entirely in the present. Living beyond space and time, their god is the awful seething maelstrom of chaos at the center of the unfeeling universe.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off our number 3. You can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind, whether it be plastic bags and straws and one-time use packaging, or it can
pineapple
be the
pizza,
air quality of San Francisco, or it can be pineapples delivered over the internet onto your pizza somehow through a replicator device.
Right.
855-450 free.
Oh, that'll be the day, right? When you can start 3D printing food.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
We're gonna have artificial meat, like lab-grown meat, in stores. Hopefully this year and next year. I can't wait.
Oh yeah,
to
I've
try
heard
that.
stories about that stuff.
Yeah, Franken meat,
where
Man.
some of the fake meat will actually bleed.
Yeah. We should have like one week where we just talk about all like the craziest technology that's coming out. Like one episode where we just devote it to all like the craziest top of the line.
Okay, well, how about...
Because there's some stuff out there that's just like...
How about next Thursday? How about we do that? We agree tonight that our show prep will be the 3 wackiest science crazy stories, things that could come down. You up for it, Heather?
I'm ready.
We're down. Daryl will bring in something
We'll do
about
our investigative research.
We'll do that. We'll have like all these fun stories. Daryl will bring in something about voter access.
Like we're talking here about politics. Meanwhile, there's like these scientists in labs and like rocket scientists that are just like putting together things beyond our imagination.
Right. And the mundane. How do I grow a hamburger in a test tube?
It'd be nice to kind of get up to par on like with the latest breaking science and technology.
That'd be fun. Daryl, you up for it? Or are you going to bring in voter access stories again?
If you know some kind of story about some technology, bring it in.
Yeah.
We are.
But we're not a science and technology show, so we're not going to focus on science and technology unless there's an issue about it.
Can we be about that just for one night, Daryl?
Can we have the Liberty Radio Network?
Can we
There's
have the
no borders to what we can talk about.
Can we have the liberty to talk about crazy, wacky science stuff?
Like I said, if you know a story about something, bring it in. But otherwise, just in the middle of while we're talking about something, instead of utility, let's talk about science.
Right.
What about science? Well, science is a thing. Like, that's not a discussion. Yes, science is a thing.
I think it'll be.
You know what we're talking about, Daryl.
So
I hope.
Chris,
maybe.
Let's get back to this article that we started, the broadband.
Yeah. So we've hopped around here. Basically, the broadband industry, on one hand, has been told by the federal government that they must provide high speed, whatever high speed happens to mean to the U.S. government, to every man, woman, and child, a chicken in every pot. And we're going to do that. It's sort of the modern version of
It's not necessarily that you have to provide it. You have to make it available.
Make it available. And we are not going to tell you exactly what high speed really is. Or if we do tell you that, it's going to change over time.
Well,
but
high-speed internet is kind of like pornography. You know it when you see it.
It's disgusting. No, it's not.
I know that my provider claims that they provide high-speed internet. And for those of you who are not driving, if you are driving, please turn down your radio while I tell you that my ISP says that 7 megabit down and 768K is high speed.
That doesn't sound high at all.
No, not when
I think somebody must be high to tell you that that is high-speed internet.
That is my only option that I have where I live. But this article continues, and it's basically broadbands they're arguing that they need to be treated like a utility, unlike what they said when net neutrality was a thing.
Right.
They say we need to be treated like a utility in the sense that you need to give us money so we can do what you want us to do. To make their point, U.S. Telecom and NTCA commissioned a report titled, quote, Rural Broadband Economics, a review of rural subsidies, unquote. The, quote, cost per user of building networks in sparsely populated areas led to, quote, unsustainable business models to provide network services, unquote. The U.S. Telecom NTCA report says the report was written for U.S. Telecom and NTCA by telecom consulting firm CostQuest Associates. So here we have the lobbyists and the telecom industry telling us that this is the reality. And it pretty much is. In this respect, there are similarities between networks and communications, electric power, roads, natural gas distribution, water distribution, sewer networks. By the very nature of network economics, each industry exhibits economies of density, and each reaches a point at which unsubsidized provision of service in low-density areas is not viable. The report goes on to describe, quote, the importance of subsidies to networks in low-density areas, unquote, for essential services, including electricity, roads, networks, natural gas, water distribution, waste disposal, and broadband. What that basically means is if the company doesn't feel like there are enough people where you live to get broadband, then we have to go to the government so everybody can pay for you to have the opportunity to have broadband.
Now, Chris, you used to live in Pennsylvania.
I did.
And you were not in one of the majorly populated areas, correct?
No, but I was in an area that at least I had my choice of ISPs. Like I could get a cable modem or DSL.
I want to go
right.
a slightly different
Go
way
ahead.
here, because they're trying to say here that internet service is basically the same thing as water and waste disposal. So basically, sewage.
Right.
Did you have a septic, or were you connected to the sewer?
Where I lived, I was connected to the municipal sewer
Did you
system.
have municipal water, or did you have a pump?
I had a well.
So one of your things was not provided by some government entity.
Correct. And
you were able to survive.
Yes. And where I live now, I pump my own well water. I have, by the government standards, and we've been talking about what high-speed internet really is, the government, I believe, where did I just say, nearly 31% of 43.6 million Americans in rural areas do not have access to home internet service with speeds of at least 25 megabits down and 3 megabits up. Like I said,
you're nowhere near that.
I'm nowhere near that. I'm about a third of that. You know, I'm 7 down and about a meg up. So almost exactly 1/3. The U.S. Telecom NTCA report argues that ISPs need more money from Americans, saying the government could boost subsidies to provide private firms to, quote, access to low-cost infrastructure, low-interest loans, loan guarantees, upfront payments, ongoing payments, and other mechanisms, unquote.
So basically, to translate, we need you, person that's not our customer,
right,
to pay, because we can't ask our customers to pay, because then the customers wouldn't get our service because our service would cost too much.
That is correct. And they're not even bringing up the customer. They're just saying, you, the government, because you collect all the money from everybody, you need to give us this money regardless of where we need to use it.
But when they're saying, federal government, we need you to give us money, translation, we need you to steal money from Heather to give money to some company in rural Idaho so that they can run a cable down to the one guy at the end of the street.
They're also saying that this they don't bring up anything about any limits on how much carriers can charge consumers. The report states that the rate of return regulation would be, quote, unsustainable in modern competitive communications markets. The report says only 3 options or some combination thereof are possible in such low-density areas. 1, prices are higher in low-density areas to reflect higher costs. 2, service is not offered in low-density areas since demand is insufficient to cover the higher costs. And or 3, the higher costs of providing service are subsidized, at least partially. The public and the FCC are disinclined lost my spot.
Disinclined to accept higher prices.
Higher prices in rural areas, which often have lower incomes. There's remaining choices between subsidizing broadband by some other method or leaving the most rural areas of the U.S. without broadband service.
And we'll continue with this, plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000. 859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That is how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. And we'll get back into the story about the broadband companies, the internet service providers, that on the one hand are saying, government, please don't regulate us like a utility, whilst simultaneously saying, please, government, treat us like a utility.
Subsidize us like a utility.
Give us money because we like money. I like money. I can't believe you like money too. We should hang out.
Right.
Now, let's talk about a different type of money, Chris, and one that I know you use quite frequently, and that would be cryptocurrency.
Do.
And let's talk about a way that you can wind up helping other people get introduced to cryptocurrency. Talk about cryptotip.org. It's a printable business card size tip that you can give to a service provider, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it brings up an explanation of the cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and then allows them to claim the amount that you have decided to put on the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get the tip refunded to you after a set period of time, again, that you specify. I think the default is 1 month, but you can do 1, 3, 6, and 12 months, I believe. And again, you get that money back if they don't claim it. And if they do claim it, you get an email letting you know. Create as many as you want. Cryptotip.org. Cryptotip.org. Now with Dash and Bitcoin Cash BCH.
And I tell you, we do this around the Keene, New Hampshire area. A number of people use the Crypto Tip or other programs in the past that have been similar to it, but they aren't doing as well as Crypto Tip does.
Right.
But it's amazing that, we'll get I'll get a little update from somebody saying, hey, do you remember that waitress at a certain restaurant? She just cashed in her crypto tip. And
nice.
So that means she's downloaded a wallet and she's now using cryptocurrency, or at least has some cryptocurrency.
Right.
And we, it's kind of cool. It's sort of a little win. You brought one other person over from the idea that only states can offer money.
Right.
And realize that this is just something that we can do on our own. So anyway, we've been talking
now,
ISPs.
Could you wind up creating your own internet service provider?
Sure. No, I could not afford to jump through all the regulatory hoops.
So basically you could not.
Right, but there are a lot of people out there that will do their own pirate versions. That's one way, and that means that somebody is basically violating the terms and services of their real internet service provider.
Right.
And then setting up some sort of, typically a wireless network.
Wireless hotspot sort of thing.
Sometimes, but I've seen some more advanced ones where guys will set up, some pretty expensive equipment that basically can beam internet wirelessly over miles to people's homes. And,
is that the Li-Fi?
There's a couple different brands. There's I
think that's one of the things that I heard about.
There's an enterprise version, enterprise solution for wireless called Ubiquiti, and that's really common because the equipment is relatively low cost. So if somebody has access to a mountaintop, or they've got an old TV tower, or, attached to their house or something like that, you might be able to, set up a deal with your neighbors, and you can become their internet service provider. There's stuff like that, but the newer things that I think we're going to see more of are going to be mesh networks, where, my house talks to Daryl's house, which happens to be in between, Heather's house, and through all this, we could all have internet, and then it becomes much grayer. So, and I've also seen things that are based on blockchain technology, ideas that we can put these sorts of things in a real decentralized yet trackable and profitable method using blockchain.
But wouldn't a blockchain still require you to have some connection to the internet?
Possibly, but that could be provided anywhere in that chain. Anywhere in the mesh of a network, if there were a connection to the internet. And that's usually how it could go. But, again, blockchains, excuse me, blockchains aren't necessarily dependent on internet access. You can do a blockchain type technology using pen and paper. It just takes you a really long time to do it.
Well, that's not when 99.99999% of people talk about blockchain. They're not talking about some guy sitting down ciphering code on paper.
Right, but the truth is that there is no technical requirement for this has to be done over the internet. Even if it didn't. Let's say I created my own.
Let's talk about file sharing through a blockchain, which is something that I've heard people mention.
Right.
You can't file share on a blockchain with a pen and paper.
True, but I could verify whether blocks are useful or not. And we're not talking about that. We're just talking about...
But to share the file, you would need access to the internet, correct?
No. I would need access from the share-e, say the sharer to the share-e. And that doesn't require an internet, Daryl. If I established a completely off the internet connection between Heather, me, and you, we could send email back and forth. We could send instant messages.
Right.
We could send files.
The three of us could communicate, but that doesn't mean that the guy across the street could communicate with us unless we're on his connection, but he's not part of our mesh.
Right. But the more the mesh grows, the more resilient it is, because now if Heather drops out and you and I are trying to communicate, that's okay. We could go through Mark. And there's a resiliency to that. And if any one of us, and if we're talking about mesh...
And I realize that a mesh does not have to be on the internet, but if people that are part of a mesh want to communicate with somebody on the other side of the world, those parties need to be on the internet at some point, correct?
Or need to have access to internet, most likely. Now, I'll tell you another thing that I do, Daryl. This is a fun one. I send email without being connected to the internet. And I do this not all the time, but usually about every 3 or 4 months, I'll get the yearning to hook up my ham radio. And I will go online. I will run a couple different specific programs. I'll tune into some frequencies. I'll find an online station, a station that has internet access, and I will use radio waves to send email. And usually it's nothing more than sending myself a short message to a Gmail address.
So now it sounds like you're talking about some sort of like hobbyist thing that
could be
a very small handful of people are ever going to be able to do. This is not a scalable solution to internet service providers getting handouts from some government somewhere.
Right. The point being
this is, I've got a buddy that also does this thing and I can send him a meme.
Sure. But again, we're talking about technologies, and technologies always improve, and always, I guarantee you, in the next 10 years, we're going to find out more about what mesh networks are capable of and what a decentralized internet may look like. I think there are a lot of people that are really fed up with the idea of going on, quote unquote, the internet means I'm going through Google, Facebook, Apple, or a couple other large companies that very likely have a financial interest in what I do and may have a financial interest in staying on the government's best side.
And I think there's more from this Ars Technica article that we need to get into.
Are we? We will.
I hope we do, because I'm getting lost talking about mesh network wire hams. This is Free Talk Live, 855 450 free.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dillon Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dillon bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dillon bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dillon bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here,
I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. That's how you can call in and join us, or you can watch us. Yeah, there are some people that they just like to watch. You can head over to twitch.lrn.fm, and it's not just this show. It's also the Call to Freedom that is on Monday through Fridays from 4 to 7 p.m. that happens just before Free Talk Live. You can watch that on the Twitch. And coming back, I believe this Saturday, Questioning Authority, happening after Free Talk Live, will also be on the Twitch. And occasionally one of the hosts will play some video games. That's generally Ian, and he says he's not done that in quite a while, but various stuff there. Twitch.lrn.fm. Been talking about, off and on throughout the night, the internet service providers that on the one hand are saying, please government, don't regulate us like utilities, whilst simultaneously saying, please government, regulate us like utilities and give us money because utilities get money. And we've been trying to come up with alternatives to internet service providers. And Chris, you threw out some ideas that sound like they might be good for hobbyists, but not going to really scale. And it's not something that, grandma would be able to easily use.
Right. And that's absolutely correct, Daryl. I talked about using ham radio as a alternate to the internet, which I can do. But I will remind everybody that when the AM radio came out, not everybody could use that. When the earliest telephones came out, not everybody could use them. When the first cars came out, it was beyond the grasp of anybody who had gone through life never riding anything more complicated than a horse. So all these technologies, while they sound far-fetched, they're all things that are going to become available to the...
But a ham radio has been around for, like 120 years.
Sure. And there are... But the thing is I can teach any kid in a matter of minutes how to talk on ham radio. Easy. Piece of cake. How to connect to the how to find somebody else within your network to send email and things like that. That's definitely more complicated stuff. But where that stuff's at today, the ability to do that's been around for 15, 20 years.
And technically, using ham radio requires an FCC license.
Technically. So there are a lot of people that, and I am a licensed operator just because I want to be able to play around and not get chased down by other ham radio operators. I'm
guessing that the ham radio operator license, not cheap?
Very cheap.
Really?
Yes, as in free.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so
generally, government licenses require, like hundreds or thousands of hours of classroom, and then you got to pass a test, and then pay a lot of money.
Yeah, well, this is one of those areas that it's not quite like that. To be an amateur radio operator, to get
Have you ever held a government license, Daryl?
You got a driver's license?
Driver's license. I've had concealed carry permits.
Sure.
I used to have FBI background checks for working at an airline.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I have gone through government licensing on various things.
The amateur...
What about you? Just curious.
Jesus. Yeah, I was
Chris is the FEMA guy for his town. Of course he's got government licenses.
No more. I gave that up. But I was in the military and I had a lot of security clearances. But as far as an FCC license to operate amateur radio equipment, It's no cost.
Okay.
Number one, and the only cost you'll have in going for your license will be with your local club, who usually is the one who will provide the testing.
Okay.
So the government looks to ham radio clubs to provide their testing. They don't actually maintain their own testers. They don't even write the tests and things like that. They rely on the hams to do that too.
Wow. Let's go to the phones. We've got David calling in from San Francisco. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, honey. Well, a couple of things. I was going to raise, I don't know if you're familiar with the huge bankruptcies that are happening in radio right now, but a lot of frequencies are going to be up like in 5 minutes if people got their wits about them. You remember Clear Channel? They used to have 1,200 stations.
They were,
and they recently changed their name to iHeartMedia. And
Right.
I do know that they've been selling some of their properties. They're going through some kind of bankruptcy right now, I believe.
Huge bankruptcy, massive bankruptcy. They were, I was saying 1,200 stations, and they managed another 800. So they had basically 2,000 stations. And they were sapping all of the little towns all across America. You know, any laundromat or corner grocery or, you know, tire repair shop or anything like that tried to buy an ad on the radio station. They had to contact the national, you know, ad buy and have to compete against Pepsi-Cola ads, you know, for a local ad in their small town.
Right.
And so they basically made a colony out of the local economics. That money never got recycled in that local town anymore. You know, every time that laundromat tried to run an ad, it got sucked to, where was there? San Antonio, I think.
Yeah.
And so, let's see, then there's, it did change to iHeart, and there's still $20 billion in bankruptcy. And so, technically, we the people own the airwaves, and the FCC is supposed to measure them out. And the old laws, the original laws were that one company could not own more than 3 stations nationwide. And under Bill Clinton, it got raised to 8, and then George Bush jammed and became Clear Channel. You know, sky's the limit kind of thing.
Well,
Now,
Clear
these
Channel
guys
existed as a company prior to the Bush administration, and it used to be you couldn't own more than 3 in a single market, but you could own more.
3 nationwide. 3 nationwide. And now you can have 8 in a single market.
Okay.
No, it was 3 in nationwide. I think there were, trying to think, here in San Francisco, we had KPIX was NBC, and I'm trying to think if they had a radio station too. And so they had 2 in one market, but I think that was all they had. Well, they had one in New York City too, I believe. But yeah, the 3 were usually pretty spread far and wide. But that was the first time I knew where they had a radio station and a TV. But yeah, 3 frequencies, and so we the people own the frequency. Now,
That's what they like to tell you.
Sure. Well, we the people own the frequencies, but
Do
they
we?
got the equipment. But they have the equipment. Now, if you can prove that you'll have a tower and you'll have your own mixing board and you'll have your own station location, you don't need to buy Clear Channel's hit their kit. You can go at your own, and plenty of people they had famous old shacks in the woods, you know, with radio stations. And what was it? King Biscuit Flower Hour was put together by who was that famous blues guy, and he had his own radio station and just jammed out blues, you know, swamp East Arkansas.
In the town that we live in, here in Keene, New Hampshire, there are several frequencies that are available. The FCC, about a decade ago, I believe I heard, put up a bid for one of the open frequencies. They wound up having 2 people that placed a bid.
Right.
And instead of drawing out of a hat one of these 2 names, they just said, yeah, we don't know who gets it. And they closed the bid and didn't give anybody the thing. And instead of opening about a decade ago, and instead of saying, oh, well, there's this other frequency that's also open, you both get a channel, they just shut it down. Nobody got a channel, and they're not allowing new licenses in most places. So the claim is that we own the frequencies and we can use the airwaves, but the FCC controls this and they will not let you do it without their permission, and they're not granting people permission.
Right. And my question is where does it say that we the people own the frequencies?
Oh, well, we own the commons. That's standard. That's Blackstone's law and all that sort of thing.
Yes.
But the thing is that they set up a station, or they bought a station, so that the mixing board and the sound studio and whatnot. You don't have to buy that, and you don't have to go to Clear Channel to get that frequency. You go to the FCC to get the frequency.
Right, and the FCC is not. Hold the thought, David. Yeah. But the FCC is not giving new frequency licenses. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
If you owe any money to the IRS, you need to call *1234. That's *1234. Uncle Sam has the power to make your life miserable. You could stop the IRS collections process right now by calling *1234. When you call the Tax Defense Center, you'll get free information on how you can reduce or eliminate your back taxes, including penalties and interest. *1234. *1234 could save you thousands on your back taxes. You could also be helped if you have unfiled returns, a tax lien, wage garnishment, bank levy, or if you have entered into a payment plan and can't make the payments. It's your hard-earned money. Stop Uncle Sam right now. Make the call that could help you end the worry today. *1234. That's *1234. *1234. *1234.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Pure Life Water, helping you drink better and live better by providing a zero-calorie alternative to sugary drinks. Visit us at nestle-purelife.us. When kids are playing, they often don't want to stop to keep hydrated, so send them out with a bottle of water and encourage them to take frequent drink breaks, or call them inside for a quick sip. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in now. 855-450 free. No guarantees that we'll be able to get to you. We do have several calls on the lines, and we'll get back to David in just a second. But I want to tell you what I'm doing in 72 days. I will be in New York City running in the New York City Marathon as a part of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to the cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. 2018 has been an extraordinary year so far for the Innocence Project and their clients. They've already freed more innocent people in the last 12 months than in any other year in the history of the Innocence Project, and they're gearing up to do even more. The attorneys and paralegals of the Innocence Project are dedicated to doing whatever it takes to set an innocent person free. To support them, a new cohort of law students have joined and are excited to help with more than 200 cases of clients seeking to prove their innocence. 9 clients have already been exonerated and reunited with their families so far in 2018. Your support now will help build on this incredible momentum of exonerations. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. run.freetalklive.com. So we're going back to David calling in from San Francisco, and we've been talking largely about internet service providers and various other means of getting on the internet, which led to a discussion about the possible use of, say, radio frequencies or expired television frequencies that the federal government told all of the TV companies you have to go digital and then get rid of the old analog. And David, you were saying that it's easy to start up a radio station. You just call the FCC and say, there's this frequency that nobody's using. I want to use it, and I've got my equipment. And you just do that because we, the people, own the airwaves. Is that basically what you were saying?
Pretty much it.
Good.
That's pretty much it.
I'm gonna take a little bit of issue with that on a couple things. Number one, and when I was looking in my Constitution earlier, I could not find, what were we looking for earlier that I couldn't find?
Plastic straws.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything about the government having the power delegated by the people to regulate plastic straws.
It was right next to the plastic bags.
Right. The other thing I couldn't find was anything that delegated that the FCC, as part of the federal government, could regulate frequencies. So I've read a number of books on this subject because I'm a geek and I read.
I mean, did they even have frequencies back then?
Yes, frequencies always exist.
I started when I was 15.
Right, as an amateur radio.
I'm in my 60s now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been messing with radio. So I had a third-class radio telegraph with broadcast endorsement.
Nice. That's old school stuff.
Third class, I guess it was.
Now it's much easier. You don't even have to learn Morse code anymore. But
that's why what you call it, Clear Channel and Cumulus are going bankrupt because they have people who are so irresponsible. Like you look at Rush Limbaugh. That guy is still he's hogging all of this money from all over the country. He's hogging all his airtime, and he's a known liar.
So?
And he's like...
So what?
Because he doesn't have a radio broadcast endorsement.
Well, no. What he has is an entertaining show to some people, not to me. I don't listen to him.
Entertainment there. Out here in San Francisco, we had an entertainer tried to get a guy put in prison forever. Guy passed out. He had an epileptic seizure driving across the Golden Gate Bridge.
Right.
This guy, the radio talk show host, the Noon guy, he was trying to get this guy put in prison forever for having an epileptic seizure. And I called him on it, and he said, I'm an entertainer. I can say whatever I want. But he said it with such force and passion that the DA was listening to him.
Well, that's okay, because here's the thing that oftentimes we don't like, but we have to respect, is that people in the marketplace make choices. David, you make choices when you listen to our show. That means you're not listening to, say, KGO or something else. You've made a choice, and somebody is going to benefit by that. If Rush Limbaugh happens to benefit because he has found a message that seems to resonate with lots of Americans, and it gets lots of people to listen, which means his radio stations suddenly get lots of advertising money for doing that. You can call it hogging all you want, but that's not hogging. That is competing in the marketplace. Go ahead.
Well, they're $20 billion in bankruptcy, and they're showing nothing but Hannity and Rush and these other jackasses. They're not making money from them.
Okay,
They're
is Rush
huge boycotts. They got them locked into 20-year contracts and all it takes is an instant. You're fired, right?
So
yet they got them locked into 20-year contracts.
Okay, so they're not running their business as well. Oh well, they go out of business, and I won't lose any sleep over it. Doesn't sound like you will either. But what I did want to take a little bit.
Hundreds of thousands of voices. In other words, every show.
What do you want? I think I would actually prefer the way this all started, and how it all started was with no FCC, nobody controlling frequencies, and people. And here's how it worked out: if Station A found out that they were getting interference from Station B, they pointed their antenna in a different direction.
It was never that way.
Yes, it was. And I'm going to recommend a book for you. It's called The Master Switch by a Harvard professor named Timothy Wu.
Months, but it wasn't more than 6 months.
The FCC was created in 1934.
Right, and it was created, and it was
existed long before that.
Long before that, it was created specifically with the demands, with the demands and lobbying of companies like Westinghouse and RCA, who were producers of radios. What they wanted to do, not only that, but they had radio programs, and they saw this as a way to monetize that. And that's what this book is really about. It's how big companies can very easily use government to raise the bar of entry so that they don't have competition. And that's, in the end, that's what we have in radio. That's what we have in TV. We have in all these things where companies have successfully lobbied the federal government to protect them, and this is what we were talking about with ISPs.
So actually, we're coming up on 100 years. Actually, the radio is the first radio news programming was broadcast on the 31st of August in 1920.
Yeah.
So we're like 98 years.
So it took 13 years for it to get to the FCC.
Would you say 1934?
That's the same year Hitler was elected, and everybody was very concerned about this heavy-handed. If you're familiar with the Bund, in the Bund movement of Hitler and his backers, they were propagandizing seriously. William Randolph Hearst was doing his Walter Winchell junk, and there was some really nasty propaganda, very similar to today in a lot of ways. And, the idea of, out here in San Francisco, they were killing immigrants. It was not pretty at all. And there were some hellish bigots out here. And the idea that radio could be used to stir up a mob. And every king was putting control over the radio, much less democracy.
But do you agree that we should the regulatory?
Well, that's the difference between an entertainer and somebody that's licensed.
Is that not subjective?
Well, when I sat behind the mic, I pledged that I was not going to stir up a mob, right?
Sure.
Rush Limbaugh, on the other hand, has an entertainer, like he has he rents the time, and the guy sitting behind the microphone is signing off on his authenticity.
So hold on, I've got a question for you, Dave. I've got a question for you, and then I do want to try getting to another caller real quick. You keep mentioning something about licensed professionals on the radio. Do you think that everybody on the radio should have to get an FCC license, or do you think that it was a good thing that in the 90s they wound up rescinding that?
Market. I started in a major market. I was in St. Louis when I got my...
That wasn't my question. My question is, do you think that everybody that speaks through a microphone on the radio should have to get a license from the FCC, or do you think it was a good thing that the FCC got rid of that regulation in the mid-1990s?
Is that a yes or no?
Well, I've worked in college radio, and I've worked
It's a yes or no?
Not the question.
It's a yes or no?
we were a number 3 market.
Is that a
Not
yes
the
or
question,
no?
David. Thank you for the call. Let's go to Joe calling in from Maryland. Joe, thank you for waiting patiently. Go ahead with your thoughts. You've got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, what? Oh, that was some boring radio. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm in Maryland, the belly of the beast here, and I'm going to the state fair tomorrow, and there's usually a libertarian booth, and I'm thinking about joining the party because of Tom Woods and his effort to make change, and I'm wondering what kind of questions I should ask these people to maybe wake them up or try to stir things up a little bit.
I don't know who you're wanting to wake up, but we're out of time for tonight. Just don't be an a-hole. This is Free Talk Live. We'll be back tomorrow.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to is probably so swamped with applicants that he or she is tough to reach. So call early in the day, before 8 a.m., before the palace guards arrive. You'll need your prospect's direct number, and here's a sneaky way to get it. Suppose the company's main number is 555-5000. You should call 555-5012. When someone